What's the chatter, everyone? My name's Quarryman590, and we are back today with yet another video. Yes, I'm grinding them out hard today because I'm feeling motivated. Yeah, that was lame. Anyway, what I have here today is a team that I actually use on ORAS, and I like to go on the battle spot or just play with it on 6v6 singles. And it actually works very well, and I wanted to show you it today and show why it's very good and why it's successful. Yeah, if you notice, you see probably some of my league team in there, and you see there's two things that weren't normally there. That being the Ryko and the MVP, which is Umbreon. But aside from that, yeah, it's pretty similar to how I build my league teams. I like to have like some synergy going around, and then I like to have like one filler. Like I have three things that synergize well with each other, two things that synergize well with each other, and then one thing that just can break teams if you get really, really lucky. And it's a good support to the team. So yeah, I just went all in order right there, and I'm going to go in order from the start. So first we have Politoed. Politoed is really good because he has boosted rain, scald, and it can burn. That makes physical attackers, it basically kills physical attackers right there. On top of that, Politoed has really good bulk. 90 on the HP, 75 on the defenses, 75 on the defense, and 100 on the special defense. You can take a Thunderbolt or a Leaf Storm from like a stab Pokemon that has like 110 base power in those. So Politoed actually really synergizes well. It also synergizes well with these two over here. Mega Swampert. I think people are now realizing how broken this thing is after a power-up punch gets set up while it's in rain. So it's probably going to start being used a lot more. It's definitely used a lot in league formats. I know that for a fact. But I think we're going to start to see this thing like more in singles. Like if you're not using it in singles, you're like out of your mind because it's going to be everywhere. So yeah, he's going to be coming too. Speed becomes 140 when the rain's up, so that's why these two synergize well together. And Waterfall becomes stronger than Earthquake. Earthquake is going to be whenever you don't have rain up, or something is immune to water or can absorb water. Then you'd either use Earthquake or Ice Punch depending on the situation. You'd probably Ice Punch if there's a dragon in, because Waterfall does jack crap and Earthquake is not very effective against most dragons. So yeah, you'd probably Ice Punch. So yeah, these two synergize well together. And then you have Rajang, aka Raikou. I just named him Rajang because Monster Hunter, electricity. If you played Monster Hunter, you'd know why I'd name him Rajang. Anyway, synergize is very well. I actually do have a Hidden Power Ice Raikou on my cartridge, and I got really lucky to find one because it actually has like Timid Nature. I have it set up like this. The only thing that's wrong with it is I don't think it has 31 in speed IVs, but it's still really powerful. Stilly. I was trying to combine still and very. Don't try and do that. So yeah, these two work together. Well, these three really, they work well together because look, water, ground, and electric. That typing matchup, it fits so well. It's like I think you're immune to everything besides steel types. So you're going to be very good on that play, or in that part. So yeah, those three down. Now let's get into my favorite part of the team and a core I feel like I discovered this core, but it might have been discovered a while ago. That would be the Metagross Umbreon core. Oh, how filthy this thing is. Okay, so basically Metagross steel typings, they kind of got nerfed like in 5th generation or 6th generation because they added like dark types can now hit steel types neutrally. So that really hurt Metagross. But Metagross actually synergizes really well with Umbreon because Umbreon can eat any type of special attack and then dish it back for a toxic. And then Moonlight, Heal Bell, Foul Play. Heal Bell helps everyone on the team. It helps him, that, and that. It's mainly going to help Mega Swampert if you see a Rotom Washington come in and burn you. So Yeah, you really want to keep Umbreon around late game because it can actually prove handy. And God forbid you get in a stall situation. Like, I know it might seem like this is a stall set, but you're mainly going to use it just in case something sets up or you just want to get a toxic off and then whittle your team down. If it gets to the point to where you have to stall with Umbreon, do whatever you have to do to win, but honestly, it's not really that fun that way. It's just a really good core matchup because Metagross, really powerful, has a lot of physical bulk, and then Umbreon has a lot of special bulk. So everyone says, but a Sylveon destroys you. Not exactly. Assault Vest puts your defenses over your defense. So if a Sylveon switches in on you, and you get a Meteor Mash, and then you go for a BP, that Sylveon's done. Also, if Metagross comes in fresh too. So if you had to sack off Chatot in this case, you would sack off Chatot, and then you'd go into your Metagross, and then you'd be good from there. So yeah, the team doesn't get ran over by a Sylveon. I tested it out. I've went up against Battle Spot Japanese teams, which, this might sound stereotypical, have so much Sylveon. It's everywhere. So yeah, my team doesn't get ran over by a Sylveon. It's far from getting ran over by a Sylveon, especially when Politoed is here, and he's one of the more especially bulky things on the team next to Umbreon. So yeah, this team, it works really well. So basically, support for Mega Swampert and Rajang, support for Rajang and Mega Swampert and everything else in the team because it's one of the strongest sweepers, if not the strongest sweeper. If something else wasn't on the team that I'll go over in a minute, I'm going to save it the last because it's the best for last. So Mega Swampert does really good. Thunder, I forgot to mention that you can spam Thunder and then Volt Switch. So you have two great lead options. You have Suicide Chatot lead, Chatter, Nasty Plot, Boom Burst, Heat Wave. You guys know what we're talking about here. This is the real deal. It can get 3 kills on average in the cartridge versions. In league formats, it's good if your opponent doesn't hard counter you, but most of the time they are, because if you don't counter for this thing, it will destroy you, like I've noticed. So that's the problem. And then you either have this lead or this lead, and both are really good. Oh, well, you just want to lead with this? If he leads with something that you like, then you Shadow Ball, Volt Switch, or Thunder. Honestly, I'd go for Volt Switch, that way you get that switch pivot going. But if it's let's say, a Gengar, then you could easily come in, Shadow Ball, get that Oko if it's not sashed, and it works perfectly. You can also go for Volt Switch, like I said, if you need the pivot. Now, when Rain's up, that's when things really get fun. Because then you can spam Thunder, and Raikou is going to have the choice specs, making him very powerful in Rain. Also, I'd like to mention that Rain kind of negates Metagross's fire weakness, and on top of having Assault Vest, a Flamethrower is not even going to do 20% of your health. So it's really strong. Now, on to the next thing, which is Umbreon. I already told you about that, never mind. No, yeah, Chatot. Chatot, now, you could drop Chatot for something else, but I just have Chatot here because it's for my personal flair. Honestly, I think I want to say a Superior would fit this team better than Chatot would, but since it's just my team, I wanted to add some personal flair to it. So I added Chatot, like you know what it can do. Boom Burst, Nasty Plot, Heat Wave, and Chatter. Very, very strong. I'm going to probably re-upload my Core Man's picks on it because that was one of my earlier videos and I screwed up hard on it. So I want to re-upload it and just get the things right because it's a really good Pokemon. After you Nasty Plot, your special attack jumps to 483, I believe, and the Oko potential is insane. I think after Cresselia gets hit by your Chatter, a Boom Burst 1-hit KOs it. Or it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO if you have the Nasty Plot up. So it's really strong against something that's probably one of the most bulkiest things in the game. Now, here's why I think this is good on this team. This is a very offensive-heavy team right next to the Umbreon, which is probably the most defensive. If you get 3 kills with this thing, and you cut your opposing enemy team in half, you can easily just waltz over them with Politoed, Mega Swampert, and then Rajang. It's so terrifying. If you don't have anything to stop that, you're pretty much done. So yeah, I really like this team. I think it has the stats and the typing coverage to go around really well. Honestly, you don't have to use chat on it. I would recommend if you're a beginner to this, I would probably put Superior on and wait until you use chat, even though chat requires like no skill to use. It's literally just like Nasty Plot, Boomburst, Chatter, and Heatwave. It's that easy. But getting it in on the right turn is the hard part because you need to know, okay, do I lead with it or do I wait? That's the hard part about using it. If that was the easy part, I think it would be in a higher tier, honestly. But because of that, it's not the best sweeper. Now, granted, I think it's one of the top tier sweepers thanks to the Nasty Plot Boomburst, and nothing else gets that. But it still is hindered by its poor defenses and the. Why does it have 65 attack? I have no idea why that's there. But yeah, defenses could be better. I predict, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it. We are getting Mega Chat 7th generation. And I will have like a live reaction if it is announced. And I'll probably be freaking out. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. That's my opinions on this team. Really good core. I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a comment on what you think about it. As always, peace.